Hello everyone and welcome to Quality Old Games. Today we are making another tier list, this time from Thrace's unit roster in original Rome Total War, and of course it applies quite a bit to the Remastered as well. And I think it's a bit sad thing that the unit roster is rather limited for Thrace, so not too many units. I guess it's 12, so that's quite a small amount. And the tier list is based, in addition to fighting capabilities, also on the unit price, and requirements are taken into consideration. So it's not only about fighting capabilities. Also, I try to do a bit of comparing the units within the faction. But I think I will also take the wider context into account here, because then there would be some weird S-tier units for Thrace, because, well, they are lacking in so many departments. But without further ado, let's begin. First we have Cavalry units, and first of those we have Early Bodyguard. And if this was kind of a Thracian roster in isolation, Early Bodyguard would get S-tier. But, I mean, Early Greek Bodyguard as S-tier is absurd, at least to me. So, even though this is perhaps the strongest cavalry unit in relation to the game phase Thrace can get, it will still be only A-tier, because, well, Greek generals are not that good. So, A-tier for these guys. And then we have Late Bodyguard, and I mean, yeah, they have better stats than Early Bodyguard, but at the same time, when these guys are available after Marian reforms, practically all the other factions are having so much better units that the strength of this unit compared to the Early Bodyguard in relation to enemy units is quite a bit weaker. So I think only weak A-tier for these Late Bodyguards. I don't think that, perhaps strong B is a bit too weak, so let's give them weak A. Then we have Greek Cavalry. I mean, yeah, this cavalry unit is rather a joke. So I think you can spend that 2400 gold pieces or denarii better than building tier 2 stables and then recruiting these guys, because militia cavalry will do as well as these, and actually in some situations quite a bit better. So D tier for these, in my opinion, rather useless. Save your money and hire, for instance, mercenaries. They can be more useful, especially for Thrace. Then we have militia cavalry, and, well, tier 1 cavalry quite a bit better than the Greek cavalry. And at the same time, missile cavalry is always nice, though it's javelin cavalry. These guys are kind of next door neighbors with Scythia, so why couldn't they borrow some bows from there? With bows, this unit would clearly go to S tier, but I think the relatively low amount of missiles will stick these guys to B tier. Then again, I admit I'm infantry player mostly, so I don't know. Perhaps A tier? But yeah, strong B, at least for now. Then let's move to infantry department. First we have Bastanai. I mean, tier 4 infantry for Thrace. And if you have seen any of the tests where Bastanai have been tested, they clearly punch below their pay grade. So even if they have 2 hit points, they are still, in my opinion, really, really bad tier 4 unit. Of course, Thrace is lacking in a variety of infantry units, in addition to lacking every other unit as well. So yeah, perhaps you can use these guys to guard your phalanx formation's flanks, but I mean, why don't you take another phalanx pikeman unit instead? Perhaps not completely useless, so let's give them weak C, but anything higher than C would be way too generous for these guys. Then we have Falksmen. I mean, the unit is kind of interesting. It hits hard, that's true. Then again, it gets hit rather hard as well. And if enemy brings any missile units into the battle, then Falksmen are in trouble. And in my opinion, they kind of fall in between of militia, or fall between militia hoplites and phalanx pikemen. Militia hoplites are tier 1, phalanx pikemen are tier 3, and Falksmen are tier 2. And, I mean, you cannot make a solid front line from these guys. You need to use these guys for flanking, or if you can surprise the enemy, or perhaps on the walls they can do really, well, rather nicely perhaps. And with Warcry they really hit hard, but overall I think, yeah, I think they get taken down a bit too easily. I'm kind of considering C and B here, but I guess since Thrace is kind of lacking in so many departments, that Falksmen are perhaps a better way to hit the enemy into the flanks or rear than, for example, Bastanai. And since Greek cavalry is so bad, then perhaps they need to use infantry for flanking purposes. So yeah, perhaps Falksmen could get a weak B tier from me. Then we have militia hoplites. I mean, one of the stronger tier 1 units. They actually fare quite well if you have a proper general with abilities to boost morale. The front line can hold rather nicely. So I think weak A tier would be okay for these guys. Perhaps it's a bit too generous. For example, Greek cities, I think I would give these guys B. Perhaps for Macedon as well. But once again, since the race is kind of lacking in the roster, I mean, yeah, it's going to be A. Then we have peasants. Well, once again, as with every other faction, S tier. And the reasoning is that you need to keep up public order in bigger cities, and you can move population with these guys. So don't use peasants in battle, they are not good there, but they are good at maintaining your empire, or kingdom, or province, or whatever area you control. So they can be quite valuable there. And of course, in a dire situation, they can actually do something when defending the city in the city center. So I think S tier for them, as for perhaps every other faction I have ranked. Perhaps not quite as useful for Thrace as for Barbarians, because Thrace can get tier 5 Governor's Palace, so the public order penalties won't be as great for Thrace as for, or rather culture penalties won't be as great for Thrace as, for example, to Dacia or Gaul, but still I think S tier. Then we have Phalanx Pikemen, kind of the, I mean, this is probably the best fighting unit you can recruit for Thrace. And if it was kind of Thrace only in isolation, I think these guys would definitely earn an S tier. But if we take the broader context, or include that as well, I think Phalanx Pikemen are only A tier unit. But I think it would be kind of funny to leave only peasants to S tier, so I think I will give these guys S tier nonetheless. Because, well, as a Thrace, you will need these if you want to progress in the campaign. Then let's move to missile units. First we have archers. I mean, the basic archers, they are not that much to write home about. I mean, kind of basic unit. B tier? Yeah. The Dacian Barbarian Warband or Archer Warband is quite a bit better. But, and these guys have only kind of short-range arrows or don't have long-range missiles. So that's kind of a downside for them. And of course, as they are facing Scythians, most likely their missile cavalry will cause trouble for these guys. So I guess B tier. And of course, Dacia has chosen archer warbands, which of course will also cause quite a bit trouble for these guys because they have longer range. So yeah, B tier for me. Then if we have Peltasts, and yeah, short range, not that much of missiles. Then again, if you can get these to flank or rear the enemy, they can do something, but still, I mean, I go and make some militia cavalry instead of these guys. You get a nice charge in addition to the missiles these guys throw. So, and you can get the militia cavalry to the rear of the enemy quite a bit earlier than the Peltasts. So most definitely go for these guys. Then if you have Onagers, you don't want to spend 4,800 to upgrade the missile range to the level you can get Onagers. And Onagers slow you down. Of course, they can do something against enemy walls, perhaps concentrated phalanxes as well, but still, you can spend the money quite a bit better, for example, to several other phalanx pikemen, even some archers and militia cavalry. However, now that I compared the Peltasts to militia cavalry, I'm kind of wondering, should they get a place in A tier after all? Because you can get these guys quite fast to the rear of the enemy, and they can actually do quite decent damage there. Perhaps not wipe out the entire enemy unit, but weaken it so that actually the combo of these two units can be actually relatively decent. So I think I will actually give them A tier instead of B, and let's actually put them here. Yeah. So this is my view of Thrace unit roster. Do you agree or disagree? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you liked the video, please leave a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And you can also consider becoming a channel member. You get some emojis, perks, more to say, what type of videos to make and what versus battles to make. And very special thanks to existing channel members, Napoleon Complex and Cossack Hussar. Your support is greatly treasured. Have a great rest of the day. Quality Old Games out.